guys, so today I'm doing a series review of A Wolf by Wolf by Ryan Graudin. So the first book is Wolf by Wolf and the second book is Blood for Blood, and I'll be doing a series review that is mostly spoiler free, and I'll let you know when the spoiler parts are coming up so you can click off or mute. So I'll start off with the first book. So this series is set mainly in Germany, but in the 1950s and in an alternate history where Hitler did win the war and is still in power in the mid-1950s. The main character is a girl called Yael who is Jewish, and during the Holocaust, after our period of history ended, where we know that Hitler in fact was defeated, instead it continued. In this alternate history, the Holocaust went too far and they actually started to try to genetically modify people to eradicate the Jewish in them. And so by accident they ended up with shapeshifters. So our main character Yael can actually change the way she looks in order to look like other people, as long as she's studied them long enough and can take on their characteristics. Our story takes place at the beginning of 1956, where Yael, who is part of a resistance movement, decides to change her face into the previous year's victor of the Axis Tour. Now, the Axis Tour is a motorcycle race that goes from Germany to Japan all across the Reich, which is essentially half the world at this point in time. And yeah, whoever wins gets to come face to face with Hitler and dance with him in a ball. And Yael decides that she's going to dress up as the previous year's victor, the only female to have ever been in the race. And when she meets Hitler, she's going to kill him. So that is the premise of the first book. Obviously, I'm not going to tell you too much about the second book, but I will give you my review. So the first book I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It was one of the best books I have read in such a long time. The characters are amazing. It is so historically accurate. I did study history last year in school, and we spent quite a lot of time in the lead up to World War II. And I can tell you for a fact the German words used in this are completely correct. Her history is obviously altered a bit because it does go beyond 1945. Her history is fantastic. She refers to things that if you haven't studied history you won't pick up on, but they're not like major things. But as someone who has studied history, you can just really appreciate how much study has gone into the accuracy of this book. And I also just really loved the premise of the book. It was just such a cool idea to have Hitler having won the war and the continuation of the concentration camps and the Holocaust to actually turn into genetic modification and shapeshifting. So this book was just completely fantastically well done. I gave 5 out of 5 stars. It's such a good book and I highly recommend it to anyone. One of the things I love about this book is that there's barely any romance. There's also no swearing, no sex, nothing. So it is appropriate for all age groups, honestly. As long as you are able to read the book, it's fantastic. I'd say middle grade and upward would be so good, and I just really appreciate that because so many books these days are targeted to sort of young audiences, like middle grade and young adult, and they're so inappropriate for the actual target audience. So the second book, which is Blood for Blood, it takes place after the end of Wolf by Wolf, where Yael has come face to face with Hitler, and I'm not going to tell you what happens, but this book takes place after that. I gave this book 4.5 stars just because I picked the ending, but other than that this book was absolutely fantastic and I adored it. It went in really cool places. Half this book is set in Russia and I loved that. It was such a cool idea, and we get far more in depth with the characters in here, especially the side characters. We do tend to know quite a lot about Yael, but we learn a lot more about Felix, Adele and Luca. Okay, so now I'm going to go into a couple of the spoilers. So if you haven't read this series, I suggest you just click off the video. So one of my favourite parts in this series was the end of the first book, where Yael is face to face with Hitler. She shoots him and all of a sudden he turns into someone else because he too is a shapeshifter. I found that the best plot twist I have read in a book in such a long time, and I just was so blown away by how genius it was and how I hadn't thought of it at all. I thought that was such an awesome idea. However, I did then pick the end of book 2. From about a third of the way through this book, I could tell that Hitler was already dead and that they were just using shapeshifters to pretend that he was still alive, and I picked that right from the get-go. I did also love the introduction of Miriam. I loved how she had so much like rich history and personality and background to her, yet she could also just switch on that leadership and was just such a kick-ass female leader. I loved that. This series gets a 5 out of 5 stars for me. Although this last one did get 4.5, I'm gonna bump this total series up to 5 out of 5. It was fantastic and I totally loved it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I had heaps of fun making it for you. And also thank you to my new subscribers. It's been really nice getting to see the numbers climb a little bit. It's been really nice to see some of you joining on this channel, and I really appreciate your subscription. I hope you like the videos I'm creating. If you do like this video, please give it a big thumbs up so I can tell that you're liking the content I'm making, and I'd love to hear from you guys if you've got any comments. If any of you have read Wolf by Wolf, please let me know what your thoughts were on it, as I'd absolutely love to hear it because it has definitely become one of my favourite series. Thanks so much. See you later, guys.